Hello there, everyone, and welcome to UCTV Overtime. My name is Jermaine Trotter.
And I'm Corinne Bush. We are so excited to be bringing you to the sporting events this semester.
And we're live! Last Wednesday in Gaetano Stadium, the women's field hockey team took on Oswego. In the first quarter, both teams were getting warmed up as neither was able to find the back of the net.
Oswego would start things off in the second quarter, finding the back of the net to take the lead. UC would answer back just a minute after. Jesslyn Files found the back of the net for the Pioneers, tying the game and grabbing her second goal of the season. Oswego would get another goal before the end of the half to take back the lead.
6.5 minutes later into the second half, the Pioneers started to heat up. Sabrina Whitehouse would tie the game for the Pioneers off an assist from Shannon Jetterich. 3 minutes after Jetterich give UC their first lead of the game, Emily Frank would have the assist on that goal. Oswego would tie the game again before the end of the fourth.
The Pioneers would keep on fighting in the fourth. With 5.5 minutes left in the game, Sydney Scatia would get the game winner for UC, assisted by Mackenzie Mix, making the final score 4-3. Go Utica!
Last Friday, the women's volleyball team completely dominated Kansas College in an intense game. Woo!
The game started with the Pioneers ahead, beating their opponents in the first set 25-16. In the next set, Casanova put up quite a challenge, but was not able to conquer UC, giving them another set win with a score of 22-25.
In the last set, the Pioneers finally laid their competitors down easily with the final score 3-0.
The Utica College men's soccer team came away with a 1-0 conference victory over the Elmira Eagles this weekend.
Freshman Jayan Rodriguez scored his first career goal in the game winner. He was assisted by sophomore Brady Bernard. The Pioneers held a clean sheet at home with this one and are now 4-4-1 on the season.
The Utica College women's soccer team won a 4-3 thriller in overtime this past Saturday against Empire 8 foe Alfred University. The first half was an offensive showcase as the two teams combined for 6 goals through 45 minutes.
After Alfred took an initial lead in the first half, the Pioneers made sure to respond as they quickly took a 2-1 lead on a penalty kick from Ro Hernandez that found its way into the back of the net for her 6th of the year. From there, the game continued to shift back and forth throughout the first half, resulting in a 3-3 tie headed into halftime.
After a much more defensive second half, the teams were set to go into overtime. Overtime did not last long, however, as Utica sustained constant offensive pressure, leading to Jacinta Kaminsky game winner from the top of the box, giving UC the 4-3 victory. It was her second game winner of the year.
UC at the time became 6-2 on the season, and we're getting prepared to face off against Union College, a game we will also recap for you in just a few minutes.
Due to unforeseen circumstances, such as the rainy Monday that we had, the women's golf meet was postponed to a later date, and the time is still to be announced.
On Tuesday, the Utica College women's soccer team suffered a heartbreaking 2-1 loss versus Union. The game stayed scoreless up until the 67th minute, where Union took the lead on a chip shot that floated over UC's goalie, Courtney Cannoli.
Utica was able to even things up 13 minutes later when Ro Hernandez was able to fight off 2 Union defenders and bury a shot past the Union goalkeeper. Unfortunately for the Pioneers, with under 5 minutes left in the match, Union was able to regain the lead off a corner kick that was initially saved by Connolly.
No! Connolly recorded 10 saves in UC's effort, but unfortunately it was not enough to push the Pioneers past Union. The Pioneers now stand at 6-3 on the season.
Now for a slight break, let's go over to Ethan, who had the privilege of talking with women's field hockey midfielder Jesslyn Files. Ethan?
Thank you, Corinne. On today's show, we have captain of the field hockey team, Jess Files. Thank you for being here today, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your major, where you're from?
So I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in sports management, and this is my first year in grad school, and I'm working on getting my MBA, and I'm from Weedsport, New York.
Oh, nice. Now, your current record is 6-4. and you're on a 3-game win streak. Now, granted, 2 of those of the last 3 games are not very close. The one was 10-0 and 8-0, but your one game against Oswego was very close in a 4-3 where you guys came out on top. Now, when you have those close games and those bigger differential in goals, what do you take more from each game?
Definitely we take something from each time, like whether it's us ahead by a lot or a close game. The games where we pull ahead by a lot, that's when we really focus on a lot of the fundamentals and trying to work on smaller things like swinging the ball, things that will make us successful in the closer games, so then it carries over to when we do have the closer games like Oswego. That's like a bit of a stronger opponent, then those things carry over, which we've had more practice, I would say practice in those types of games to be successful.
Not closer games, correct? Okay.
To be successful in like the really closer games. So just really working on fundamentals in those ones to carry over.
Basics. Now, you have a game tomorrow against St. John Fisher. How will you take those 3 games that you have momentum now and take that to St. John Fisher, which is on the road?
Definitely same. We've been doing a lot of the same things in practice just to get prepared, and then the game against Oswego definitely helped us because they're kind of similar in play. They're pretty tough. So just really focusing and working on conference play, since Fisher is usually one of the top teams in our conference, but not getting too ahead of ourselves, not fixating on anything about them, just really doing the same things we've been doing has been pretty successful. So,
I mean, obviously it's working so far. Now, what drew you to play field hockey here at UC?
Mostly just the coaches, like the other girls that were already on the team, coming in for visits and stuff like that, being able to meet them and how close they already were, it made me feel more excited and welcomed that when I was a freshman on the team, I would be welcomed from the start, and then just like the family connection that it felt like.
Now, you said you've played since freshman. Do you have any high school?
Yeah, I played in high school at Weedsport, so carrying over from that, I just wanted to keep going because I liked it so much. So.
When did you start playing?
3rd grade.
Oh, little then.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular game either in high school or here that really is going to stand out to you?
For high school, our team won sectionals 3 years in a row. So my senior year winning sectionals, that was great. And then here in college, I wouldn't say any. So far this year, Oswego has been the big one for us because they were a pretty big opponent. But I would say so far just making Empire 8 tournament my junior year. And then last year, unfortunately, with COVID, things were kind of messy, but just that. And then hopefully this year to win a championship.
Obviously, you brought that success with you, though, here to UCTV from your high school. Now, how do you balance being a captain of your sport, field hockey, to your course load and being a graduate student here?
Definitely, I would say for myself that school, like being a student athlete, it makes me more organized because I have to more like fix my schedule based on if I have practice early in the morning or if I have practice during the day or a game. That makes me have to like get my work done before, like for a game tomorrow on a Wednesday. I know like that day I probably won't be doing as much homework or anything like that, so I know I have to really work more on Mondays and Tuesdays and then plan it out that way. So I'd say it keeps me more organized.
Because you have to keep that regimented schedule for you. Now, what is your favorite part about field hockey?
I would definitely say the teammate, my teammates. Yeah, it definitely makes me have, I mean, joining a team, you already have however many more friends that way, and then just like how much time we spend together, it makes us, there's so many funny memories that happen. So I would say just the friendships that come out of it and the family connections.
What is the hardest part about field hockey? Because I'm not really well versed in field hockey.
Yeah.
So.
I would definitely say the mental aspect because it is a pretty long season. We come here in August. We go until early November.
Well, it's a real long
season.
season.
Yeah, so it's a very long season. You go through a lot, injuries, schoolwork, all that, and then in the game too, it's a big mental thing. So I would definitely say the mental part of it is that you have to try to really just stay focused, like not try to drain out too quick or anything like that, and yeah.
Now, does your ever field performance, if you either win that day or lose that day, ever affect your classroom performance the next day? Or are you pretty good about that, separating
I'm
that?
pretty good about separating because at the end of the day, you are a student first. You can't really let the athlete part of it change too much. But I mean, obviously a loss, it's gonna change your mood a little bit, but I try to keep them pretty separate.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, since you were a freshman, now you're a graduate student, and I'm sure there's some freshmen on the team, correct? Do you ever like take a couple under your wing and show them how you succeeded here and give them any pointers and tips? If so, what are those?
Yeah, for sure. We actually have 2 freshmen on our team, and they're great. Like, they're so close with us, and we've definitely tried to like show them the ropes a little bit, tell them like what we did when we were younger to make us be successful now, but also listening to them as well. Like some people I feel like would be like, if you're a senior, like you always have to listen to the seniors, but they've like stepped up, uses their voices too. So really just trying to balance that of listening to them, but having them take advice from us as well has been one of my favorite things.
Now, what is your favorite thing about UC Sports here at Utica?
I would definitely have to say how a lot of the teams support each other. Like whether it's on social media or showing up to a game, a lot of teams will repost things like our women's, like actually all of our fall sports right now are doing pretty successful.
Yes,
so
they are.
I feel like everyone's supporting each other, whether it's reposting something on Twitter or anything like that. I think that's my favorite part is how everyone comes together.
Every day when I look on Instagram, I always see something about
Yeah.
women's soccer team, field hockey team, the basketball team.
Yeah, so I think that's my favorite is just how all the sports teams seem to support each other, go out to a game and anything like that, because we all relate.
I think
that
it's
much.
also part of the small school atmosphere, you know.
For
These
sure.
big schools definitely don't have
Yeah,
that,
no, the big
like
school,
us.
I feel like they don't have that, so that's another thing. Like being smaller, like it makes you have to like
Be
know
closer
everyone
to
more.
not just your team, but
Yeah,
every
to
team.
everyone.
That is going to wrap up our interview today. Thank you, Jess, for coming.
Thank you.
And that is bring it back to you guys at overtime.
Thanks, Ethan. This upcoming week, we got a variety of games going on, so be sure to stop out and support your fellow Pioneers. This Friday, October 8th, the women's volleyball team will be going head-to-head against Elmira College for yet another hopeful win. The game will start at 6 p.m. in the Athletic Center.
This Saturday, October 9th, the Utica College men's soccer will host Nazareth College, an Empire A Conference matchup. Game starts at 2 p.m. The team is 1-1 in conference play. A win would take the Pioneers over 500. Come support the Pioneers as they look to close out their homestead with 2 wins.
The women's tennis team will be going head-to-head against Hartwick College. The game will be this Saturday, October 9th at 1 p.m. at the UC tennis courts.
If you missed Friday's game or can't get enough of volleyball, the women's volleyball team will be having another game against Alfred University. The game will take place on Saturday, October 9th at 3 p.m. in the Athletic Center.
This upcoming Sunday, the field hockey team will be facing off against Nazareth College at 1 p.m. at Gaetano Stadium. It's going to be an exciting game, so make sure to come out and support your fellow Pioneers.
And that's all the UC Sports we have for you this week.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to stay up to date with everything going on in UC Athletics. Also follow us on Instagram for story updates during the games. Always remember to
Fear the Moose!